I actually debated if I was going to be physically strong enough to um, do this review because the series has concluded and the Astros are going to the World Series after winning in 6 games. Um, I don't. My heart's really not into it right now, and most Yankee fans' hearts are not into it until you suffer a loss like that. Um, you won't know what that feels like. Essentially, um, the Astros are just a better team, and that's what it comes down to. Is the Astros are a better team. Their pitching is better. I don't necessarily think their lineup is better, but they they outplayed us. They outplayed us in every game except the first game. I don't think the Yankees deserve to win this series. I had an amazing, amazing night at my cousin's wedding, and then to come home, and it gets even better because DJ's bat ignites for fire in the ninth and keeps our season alive. And then in the bottom of the ninth, Chapman comes in, and you knew one of these times. That's what I hate about being away in a series clinching game. Altuve got a hold of one, put it right over or right by the arc, and that was all she wrote. So I didn't. The second it went over the arc, I turned the TV off immediately. Uh, I don't want to watch that. I don't. Turned it off immediately, and I won't touch ESPN for the rest of the night. I'm always on ESPN. I will not. Will I watch the World Series? Probably, but I will not touch ESPN for the rest of the night because it's just going to be constant champagne and shit, and you don't want to be on the other end of that. Um, to me, this year for the Yankees was a failure. It was a failure. Now, a lot of you are going to say, why was this year a failure? They didn't win the World Series. At the All-Star break, this team was, I don't know what their record was, but they were at least 30 games above 500. September came around, same thing. This team wasn't even supposed to be here. The Yankees weren't even supposed to make it. And I'm not cutting them any slack because they played like shit in this series. And they didn't deserve to beat the Astros. The Astros outplayed them in almost every aspect except the bullpen, and even that you could argue. The Yankees didn't deserve to win, and they didn't. It's definitely a painful feeling, and it's one I felt before 2 years ago. I can only imagine what it felt like in 2001 when the Diamondbacks won in 7 games, especially after 9/11. It would have been so big for the city just to have that moment. But like I said, I don't have the words. Just give me a minute to gather myself. They didn't deserve to win the series, and that's what it comes down to. I think that the number one reason why the Yankees did not win this World Series, or not World Series, did not win the pennant and go to the World Series, was runners in scoring position. It was easily the most frustrating thing is that the Yankees got on base in almost every game. They had runners bases loaded, second and third, first and third, first and second, and they could not do shit. When they had the bases loaded, they could not do shit. When they had first and second, they could not do shit. When they had the runners at the corners with no outs, they could not do shit. The entire lineup 1 through 9 outside of Gleyber Torres, and I'll give DJ LeMahieu the pass because he stepped it up, and a couple other players with key moments played like shit. They were just shut down. They were hitting, but they were not scoring. If you can't get the runners on base across the plate, you two things. You don't win the game, and you don't deserve to win the game. The Astros outpitched the Yankees. They outhit the Yankees. They outsmarted the Yankees. There were so many different things that happened, and I'll review Game 6, I guess. I was out for most of this. Chad Green, I guess I'm pretty sure was the starter for this game, and the Astros got a hold of one early. They scored 3 runs in the first and tagged the Yankees, and it was 3-0. 3-1. I'm sorry, because I forgot about second inning. Right, Sanchez had the play. I'm still a little bit out of it. I'm sorry. This video is going to be a little bit. Sanchez had the play where he had scored, and it was 3-1, and it was 3-1 for a while. And then Urshela did end up getting a hold of one solo shot, but those shots need to happen when they have runners on base, because your 2-run and your 3-run shots, you don't need a grand slam, but your 3-run home runs, that is what wins you the game. People underestimate the value of a runner on with a home run. You need to be able to have guys that can hit home runs, and we, as the Yankees, certainly have that, but we didn't have any of that shit in this series. This was I know it went 6 games, but this was an absolute miserable series for the Yankees. Everything that they demonstrated up to this series was the Astros are going to have their hands full, and that was not what happened. We had, let me sum up the series. Bases loaded, no outs, no scoring. Okay? Outside of an Aaron Hicks 3-run home run at Yankee Stadium and a unbelievable, all respect and credit due, 2-run shot from DJ LeMahieu in the 9th inning tonight, and a nice little showing in Game 1 for Gleyber Torres, this Yankees team did not do shit. Paxton pitched good the other night, okay. Tanaka's been pitched great all postseason, okay. Severino didn't look good in his start, left runners on. You know, the Yankees bullpen was overexposed like a mother. And it's just, the Astros got familiar with it. When they weren't hitting off the charts either, but when they got runners on, a lot of times they scored. So, you know, that happens, and then the bottom of the 9th comes, Chapman does his thing, he gets a quick out, and then he has to make it horrifying to watch. For the love of God, Chapman, can you just, I know more times than not you get the save, but for the love of God, can you not make it so scary? Can you, for once, can you just strike out the side and 10th inning, here we go. It's just, you know, and Altuve too, besides a home run, he's been quiet, and I had an awful feeling that when Altuve came to the plate in the bottom of the 9th, the Yankees were in for it. And he gets a hold of one, and you hear the announcer go, well, that's in the left. The second that happened, and I saw the camera angle, off. No ESPN, nothing. They didn't deserve to win this series. I'm going to congratulate the Astros on a hard-fought series. They gave it to us, and we could not handle it. I'm extremely disappointed in the Yankees lineup. I'm going to give Gleyber Torres some of that slack. I'm going to cut him some, and DJ LeMahieu as well. But outside of those two men, this series was just a massive disappointment. I don't care if Sanchez hit a home run and got an RBI. Sanchez was a disappointment. Encarnacion was a massive disappointment. Giancarlo Stanton should not even be a Yankee. I can't stand him. He doesn't deserve to have his jersey printed. Brett Gardner was a massive disappointment. Urshela had some moments, so maybe you cut him a little bit of slack. Who else? Gregorius had some moments, but still, moments don't mean that you performed great. It means that you were clutch when you needed to be, which is good. But they didn't play good. Gregorius didn't play great. Urshela had some moments, but what was he batting before this? Torres, LeMahieu, and maybe Urshela. You're excused. Everyone else, figure it out. One of the biggest disappointments to me was Aaron Judge. You are the quote-unquote captain, unofficially, of this team, and you made some plays in the outfield, but you kind of played like shit in this series. Where was your strong style bats? Where were your home runs when we needed them? You had no. Let me give some credit where it's due. He did have that home run off Verlander in game. I want to say it was game 1. No. It was game two. Game two. Um, so I have nothing against Aaron Judge. I like him. I think he's great. He makes some defensive plays, but he wasn't hitting either. Giancarlo Stanton to me doesn't count because he hasn't. He's just been popping up for the Yankees whenever. The guy gets injured every other day, and if anybody would take his massively lucrative 30-something million dollar contract, I would get him away while he still has value because there are teams that want home run hitters. Yes, I know Stanton had a home run, but one home run in the series does not make you excused from the rest of the series. Anybody can get a hold of a good fastball, but you have to consistently be good. And like I said, Torres has been our best postseason player. Outside of him, there hasn't been anybody that's been extraordinary. Nobody. LeMahieu, that's it. So, our pitching wasn't atrocious. The Astros have a good lineup, and I was not expecting the Yankees to tag the Astros for 10 runs a game. That's unrealistic, but I didn't. I expected a much harder fight, and I'm extremely disappointed in their lineup and ability to score runners in scoring position. They did not deserve to win this series, and like I said, I think the World Series is going to be better than people think. I know the Nationals have fantastic pitching, and they've got a decent lineup, but I don't know if they can hold the Astros. It's all going to be how they match up, because even if the Nationals... I got to root for the Nationals. I have to. Because it's getting to a point now where the Yankees and the Astros now are officially a rivalry. Even after 17, when they lost, it was a rivalry. So, I would have the Astros winning the World Series as a safe bet. But you never know what you'll get from the Nationals. I think they're on a... I think they're desperate to win. But it's just... I have no words. So, Altuve gets a hold of one, and the Astros clinch the pennant. And this is definitely not the video I wanted to record. But it's been a phenomenal season for the Yankees, but from our standard, anything outside of a World Series is a disappointment. And tonight, and this whole series has been a disappointment. So, best of luck to the Astros. I genuinely don't mean that. I actually hope they get swept. I hope the Nationals... I hope that Max Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez, and everybody pitching for Washington completely shuts them down. Not limits them, shuts them down. I hope they get no hit in the first game, and I hope the next 3 games they get no hit in the second game. I hope the third game they have a chance to go to extra innings and they lose. I will be the biggest... I might get a Max Scherzer jersey. I will be the biggest Washington Nationals fan you have ever seen in the next week and a half. So, it sucks, but it's part of the game, so we'll see. There's always next year. I hate to use that, such a cringy line, but there is always next year, and it's not the way you want to go out.